Hello everyone. Yesterday we started talking about common denominators and equivalent fractions. And so today we're going to do some more practice with common denominators, looking at two fractions that have uncommon denominators and then finding a common denominator using one of the strategies in the videos that you watched. So when I look at number 1, and this is on your Go Formative for you, I have 2/9 and I have 5/6. And they're telling me that a common denominator for these two is 18. Well, how did they get 18? If you watched today's video, there were 3 strategies you could pick from. One is checking each of the denominators, so looking at 9 and 6, and asking yourself, can I use one of these as a denominator? Does 6 go into 9? No. Does 9 go into 6? No. So I can't use that. Okay, I could multiply them together like you would do in the butterfly method. You could do that. You would get 54, and it's just going to give you a bigger denominator to work with, but that's absolutely a possibility. Or I could look for a least common multiple, and when you do that, you start with the larger number. So you ask yourself, okay, 9 times 2 is 18. Does 6 go into 18? Yes, so that's the smallest common denominator, or the least common multiple that I can use. So that's where they got that 18 from. Then, in order to make 18 be the common denominator, you have to multiply the numerator and the denominator by whatever it takes to get it to 18 on the bottom. So if I have 9, I have to do 9 times 2 to make 18. And whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. So 2 times 2 is 4. That's where they got this 4 from. Same thing for 6. I need this to be 18. I know that 6 times 3 is 18, so I'll do 5 times 3 up here. 5 times 3 is 15. Now I'm going to take these new equivalent fractions and I'm going to plug them into these problems here. So 2/9 plus 5/6. Well, if we were just going to solve this problem, we'd have to find a common denominator first. But guys, you already did that. The answers are right here. So you're just going to use these new fractions to plug it in. So 2/9 plus 5/6 is the same thing as 4/18 plus 15/18. So 15 plus 4, that's 19. This is the same as 19/18. And since it's an improper fraction, we should reduce it 1 and 1/18. Now you can put either answer in on Go Formative. It will accept both. You can have 19/18 or 1 and 1/18. Don't put them both though. Pick one or the other. Okay? Same thing here. We're going to use what we already know, these equivalent fractions, to solve this problem. 5/6 is equivalent to 15/18. So I have 15/18 take away 4/18. And I know that 15 take away 4 is 11. And the denominator stays the same. Then they're asking us to compare them. Well, what was bigger, 2/9 or 5/6? Again, 2/9 is the same as 4/18, and 5/6 is the same as 15/18. So what's bigger, 4 or 15? That would be 15. Okay? So they kind of got us started on this one. Now they're going to ask us to do all the work ourselves. So let's look at these numbers, 3/4 and 7/12. I need a common denominator. So I'm going to look for the least common multiple, the LCM. What number can I multiply that is a multiple of both of these? So I'm going to start with the 12. It's the bigger denominator. And I know that 12 times 1 is 12. And 4 times 3 is 12. So I'm going to use 12 as the common denominator. So now I'm going to make new fractions. So my common denominator is 12. And I have to get this 4 to be a 12. So I know that 4 times 3 is 12. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do up here. 3 times 3 is 9. This is already 12, so I don't have to do anything to it. I can just leave it alone. Okay, now I'm going to use these new equivalent fractions. They're the same as these to solve these problems. So 3/4 plus 7/12. Well, that's the same as 9/12 plus 7/12. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's 16/12. And when we have an improper fraction, we should reduce it. So there are 12 12s here, so that's 1, and then 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I have 4 12ths left over. Okay, now you could reduce that even further, and if you do on your Go Formative, that's fine. So there's 3 possible answers. You could get 16 12ths, you could get 1 and 4 12ths, or if you reduced it even further, you could get 1 and 1/3. Either of these is correct. Now we're going to subtract them. 3/4, it's the same as 9/12. 9/12 take away 7/12. And 9 take away 7 I know is 2. So you could have 2 12ths, or if you want to be a really cool kid and reduce it even further, 2 divided by 2 is 1. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Either of these are correct. Don't put both of them. Pick one. Then we compare and contrast. What's bigger, 9/12 or 7/12? Well, we know that 9 is bigger than 7. Okay. We've got one more like this. 4/7 and 1/2. Again, I'm going to use the least common multiple to find my common denominator. I'm going to start with the bigger number. 7 times 2 is 14, and 2 times 7 is 14, so they'll both go into 14. I'm going to make 14 be the common denominator. 14. Now you could multiply them together and get 14 as well. That would be another strategy too. Okay, so now I have to change 4/7 to be a fraction with a denominator of 14. So I'm going to ask myself, 7 times what is 14? 7 times 2. So times 2 times 2. That gives me 8/14. And again, this has to be 14, so 2 times what is 14? Well, that would be 7. So now I get 7/14. They want me to add them together. 8/14 plus 7/14 is 15/14. You can leave it like that, or you can go the extra mile and reduce it. There are 14/14 here, so that's one whole, with one extra left over. Both are correct. Choose one for Go Formative. Then I'm subtracting. 8 take away 7 is 1. And the denominator stays the same. Okay. Comparing, what's larger, 8 or 7? We know it's 8. There we go. If at any time I'm going too fast, you can pause the video, fill in the blanks that you need to fill in, and then you can always start the video again. Okay, that was page 156 in your Volume 2 Math Journal. It's also on your Go Formative. Now we're going to mosey on over to page 157. Okay, for each problem, find a common denominator and write which strategy you used. Then write the fractions using the common denominator and solve. Okay, so strategies. I listed equivalent fractions. I noticed one denominator was a multiple of the other, or I found a quick common denominator. That's like multiplying them together. So 2/3 and 10/15. Well, looking at 3 and 15, I notice one denominator is a multiple of the other. I know that 3 times 5 is 15. So I know that 3 is going to go into here. So I'm going to keep this as my denominator. So my strategy is going to be one denominator and I'm going to abbreviate here for time, was a multiple of the other. Okay, that's our strategy. Now your strategy might be different. That's the strategy I used. Use whatever one works best for you. Fractions with a common denominator. So I'm changing these to both be 15. Well, if this is already 15, guys, you don't have to change it. Just copy it down. 10/15 gets to stay the same. The goal is to get both fractions with 15. If that's already there, don't change it. Now, how do I get this to have a denominator of 15? I'm going to ask myself, 2/3 times what is going to give me something over 15? Well, 3 times what is 15? It's 5. Whatever I do here, I do here. So 2 times 5 is 10. So I have 10/15 and 10/15. Okay? Now guys, we're going to add them together. These are the same, okay? 2/3 and 10/15 are the same. 10/15 and 10/15 are the same. So add your 10s together. You get 20/15. Which again, if you want to go that extra mile, is 1 and 5/15. Or if you want to keep going, it's 1 and 1/3. Okay, all of these are correct. Pick one for your go formative. Do not list them all. Comparing and contrasting. What's bigger? 10/15 or 10/15? Last time I checked, those are equal. Okay? 1/4 and 2/9. We can list equivalent fractions, notice a multiple, or find a quick denominator. I'm going to find a quick denominator, and I'm going to tell myself, what is 4 times 9? That's 36. So I'm going to put quick denominator. And again, I'm abbreviating for time. So I want them both to be 36. So if I want to do 1/4 times what is going to give me something over 36. I know 4 times 9 is 36. So I'll do that up here too. 1 times 9 is 9. So I've got 9/36. And then 2/9. 2/9 times what is going to equal something over 36. Well, if 4 times 9 is 36, we can flip that. 9 times 4 is 36. And 2 times 4 is 8. So I have 9/36 and 8/36. Okay, we're going to subtract. 9 take away 8 is 1/36. Compare and contrast them. What's bigger, 9 or 8? 9. We always want to eat the larger number. Okay? All right, I'm going to pause my video here. I want you to try to solve number 6 and 7 on your own using some of these strategies. Rewatch the video if you need to. Pause and catch up. Send me a private comment or an email if you need more help. And make sure you watch the video today from YouTube about the different strategies.